Hey guys, hope you're doing absolutely fantastic today. I myself am down with the flu, but I really wanted to make this video because in this video I'm going to show you, I'm going to audit Tom Cruz's $2.6 million a month webinar funnel. He runs a program, it's a 7K program for a Section 8 course. And I've broken down all the systems here that he's currently running, as well as the recommendations I would make to make this even better. Now, don't quote me on the 2.6 million. It's something I heard. I don't know if it's correct. I don't know how much money he makes. But that's the last thing I heard that he did. So the current setup that Tom is running is he's running both Meta ads and TikTok ads primarily, right? And if we take a look at his Meta ad library here, I'd say that this could do a lot of work, especially with the new Meta Andromeda update. You need way more creatives, you need way more copy variations, headline variations, creative variations than you needed before. With the kind of spend that Tom needs to be doing to do $2.6 million a month, he would need at least 30 to 50 new creatives, unique creatives, every single month. And it looks like he only runs direct response. Last month alone, he only posted, or his marketing team only did 5 different creative hairs, all with the exact same ad copy. Same with this month. Exact same ad copy, exact same headline. In August, 2 ads, actually 2 different ad copies here. July, a few different variations, but this is very, very, very far from the optimal amount of creatives that you would need for an offer that does the volume that this offer is doing. So I would pump out, like I said, 30 to 50 new unique video variations, image variations every single month. I would test 3 to 5 copies per ad, as well as up to 5 different headline variations per ad, because that's just what you have to do with the new update. Okay. Then if we take a look at his website pages, he is currently split testing 2 different registration pages or opt-in pages here for the webinar itself. And he also just runs the native Webinar Jam registration page for all of his organic traffic. For his organic traffic, this works because the organic traffic, people usually follow him. They know who he is. He's like $1 million or 1 million followers on Instagram and even more on TikTok, I think. So if people follow him and they want to register for a webinar, it doesn't really matter what this page looks like as long as it's clean. But for cold traffic, it's a whole different story. So this is the old variation that he ran, and now all of his ads are going to this opt-in page. There's a lot of things we can do different here. I'm going to go through that later. After they register, by the way, it's not even on Zoom. It's not actually on Webinar Jam. But after they register, they're taken to a different page, pretty different design, so that needs to be more congruent. And he has a one-time offer for $127, instant access. Actually, it's a one-to-one coaching call with a portfolio manager. So that's a really good offer, actually, $127 for that. Which enables him to liquidate a bunch of the ad spent on the front end before the webinar even takes place, which is something that I recommend for all high-spend webinars and challenge funnels to do. Okay, so this is a good page. It just needs to be congruent. That's it. For the emails, he's sending way too few emails here. You should at least be sending 10, 15 different emails before the webinar. Now it might be that I registered a little bit too late. I think I registered about 3 days before the webinar. But right now, we get 2 emails exactly 24 hours before, 1 9 hour before, 1 hour before, and 1 12 minutes before. And it needs to be way more consistent and a way higher volume here with social proof and with value and with the pre-framing before the webinar, etc., building that hype. So these emails are good. They're very good. Don't get me wrong. We just need a lot more of them. Okay. And then for the SMS, he sends SMS 4 hours before, 1 hour before, 15 minutes, and then live, and then 13 minutes after. And now that's a little bit like we want a higher frequency here, especially in the US, because skepticism is so high and attention span is so low. So we need more reminders. If we take a look at Shelby Zapp, I actually have another video where I audited her funnel. And if we take a look at her frequency of emails, or of SMS, let's see. She sends one instantly, then she sends one 8 hours before, 4 hours before, 1 hour before, 15 minutes before, 10 minutes before, 5 minutes before, at the point of start, 6 minutes after, 8 minutes, or that's an email, 12 minutes after. Okay, so she's sending way more emails, and way more SMSs and emails. Her sequence is extremely solid, and that's just something that you have to do if you want to optimize your show up rate. Then over to the recommendations here. There's a lot of things I would do if my agency took over this offer. The first thing we would implement is a propaganda ad strategy. So right now, the only ads that he's running are just direct response to registration, and you need those. He just needs a lot more of them. But in addition to that, I would create a unique campaign and a unique custom audience, and I would show all the people who have registered for the webinar 30 to 50 different pieces of content before the webinar even starts. Okay. So how you do this is once someone registers, they're put into a custom audience, and then you have 30 to different ad sets with one ad inside each, and they're all targeting the same audience, and they're also all excluding every single ad set is excluding a unique custom audience for every single ad for the people who've watched 25% of that ad. What that means is once someone has seen 25% of an ad in this audience, they won't see it again. They'll be pushed to the next video. So this is a way to force Facebook to send people through as many different of the ads in that campaign as possible. Because if you didn't have that exclusion, they would probably, or Facebook would send this or view the same ad to one person many different times. We don't want that. We want them to view as many different ads as possible. And these ads are, they're going to be filled with value content, with social proof, with objection handling, pre-framing, FAQ sheets, etc., like mini presentations, slideshows. You want all that good stuff in this campaign, so that when people actually show up to the webinar, they have been through so much of Tom's content before the even webinar takes place. This is going to, make people have them be way further down in the sales process, before they even jump on the webinar where they're going to get sold. It's also going to make them way more interested and way more aware of the opportunity, so the show up rate is going to increase. Okay, so that's one thing that I would implement immediately, especially like with this high spend that he's doing. He's spending probably upwards of $500,000 to $1 million a month. So you need way more creatives. You need a back-end ad strategy that shows people organic content to move them further down the sales process. And you also need way more emails. And that's the next step here. So you want 10 to 15 different emails before the webinar even takes place. And the way we do this is we write first a confirmation email where we write objections, we create SOP sheets. That's probably not as relevant for this niche specifically. We create FAQ sheets, we find the top performing YouTube videos and testimonials, and we create one email per subject here. And even though we send out these emails like very frequently, this is an example of one of our clients. In this specific example, we send out every 4 hours. and we get a 36% open rate, 37% on average, okay? Another thing I would test, it might not work better, but I think it would, is on the registration page have two different options. So you have a general admission and then a VIP ticket. He could test to also charge, let's say $7 for general admission, and then, or maybe $47 for general admission and $97 for VIP. You kind of have to test a few different variations here, but I do recommend people to have both a general admissions ticket and the VIP ticket. But due to the sheer volume of what this guy is doing and how frequent he's doing these webinars, doing them every single week, I do recommend that he at least tests a $27 or something around that number for a VIP ticket, where they will get the recording of the webinar, they will get the slides, they will get value sheets, and as well as some other bonuses that you could stack into that, because that is going to hopefully make you break even on the front end before the webinar even takes place. Okay, so you're not losing any money before the webinar. Which is also going to increase your margins, and it's going to be able you to spend more, because you're going to recycle everything back into the ads. Okay, so that's something else that I would heavily recommend. Also, his no-show email sequence is more or less non-existent. Missing out on a lot of money here. You should have a no-show nurture email sequence that automatically invites people to your next webinar if you're doing frequent ones. They should be packed with value, social proof, testimonials, YouTube videos, software walkthroughs, so that the likelihood of them attending a new webinar just increases. Okay, now to the registration page. There's a lot of things that can be done here with a new registration page. So every single registration page or opt-in page needs to have these 5 components. It's extremely important. They need to have a strong value proposition, social proof, trust and credibility, a call to action, and product imagery. If that's an influencer having a course, it can be an image of that person, okay? But you just need to portray something, okay? And this registration page that is currently doing or running only has 2 of them. It has extremely strong value proposition. This is a very good headline. I like it. And then he has a call to action. Okay, there's 3 more things that I would add here, and some other things. I'd probably add some sections below the hero section as well. I would add social proof and trust and credibility and product imagery. And I have an example here from one of the clients that we work with, David Packhouse. He had the movie War Dogs based about his story. After the movie and after house arrest, he created a course on government contracting to teach other people. And you see the different components here that this page has. So the first one is a strong value proposition that comes in the headline. Learn how to win your first 5 to 8 figure government contract in 90 days. Then we have social proof, which are, just pure statistics from the program itself. The average contract value, the average time before the first contract, the average profit margins on the first contract, etc. Because you can't argue statistics. And then trust and credibility. We have a Trustpilot here. We also have in the small headline here, fill in your information below and see how our students have won over $19.6 million in total contracts the past 12 months. That's also social proof. Then for the, that's also trust and credibility. For the call to action, he has a very clear call to action on this page. I don't really have anything else to say. Save my seat for the Tom Cruz's 100% free online live training. Probably phrase it a little bit differently because my mouth stumbled a little bit when I read it. Click here to save your seat, but it's all in all with the two curly arrows here as well. $1,000 cash giveaway, that's great. It's going to increase the show up rate. All in all, the CTA is very good, but it doesn't have product imagery. Okay, it doesn't have an image of Tom, because he's running these ads to cold traffic, right? So most of the people here don't know who he is. Like, why should they listen to him? What is he going to cover more in depth? Who even is this guy? With organic traffic, you don't really need that because people know about you. But with cold traffic, you need a lot more information here. And you actually need to show, how this guy looks like, which they did with the first opt-in page. I actually think this one's better. One thing here as well that they did in the previous registration page that they used is that you have a higher conversion rate when you have the forms directly on the page. Now, if he implemented a VIP ticket, he couldn't have that because it would be checkout. But if you are not running a checkout and you're just running, get your information or put in your information to register, it always converts better when you have the fields embedded on the page instead of people having to click one more time. So right now we have to click on this button, and then they have to click on the button itself in the form. I'm going to show you how this page looks like live. Here we go. So yeah, it's just a super short hero section, and there's just so much more that you can do here to increase his margins and show up rate and closing rate and everything. So yeah, that's it for this audit. If Tom actually implemented these changes that I laid out here, he would certainly make a lot more money. So Tom, if you see this, feel free to reach out. But the channel's still pretty small, so I doubt it. But I hope this video really brought you guys some value, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.